What's going on, everybody? Javi here.
Damn.
We're getting right into it.
Bro.
Damn, we're coming hot.
You come my ear. Gustavo, what's up?
Yeah, well, today, guys, we're on episode 2.
Oh, yeah.
No, episode 29
Episode 2 of the series. So, kind of
of this new series.
Season 2?
Yep, season 2. You know, where we talk about a man and what history he has made, basically. And today we're going to be talking about Gaddafi. Gaddafi was the dictator of Libya for 42 years, and he died at the age of, he was in his 60s. He died in 2011, actually. They found him in a sewer, basically.
He died or he was killed?
He was killed.
Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, he was killed. I think the Americans killed him.
That's like for sure. So I haven't done any research. This is his guy, so I don't know anything. So I'm going to be asking some questions.
Oh, man. All right, well, let me just tell you what I know, and then, if I don't know anything, I can pull up my handy-dandy computer, a.k.a. the telephone.
Okay.
Actually, you know what's crazy for real?
What's up?
Before I talk about this guy. All right.
You won't remember later?
No, I'll remember later, but just because it's a weird fact. All right. So you know how Adam and Eve, they bit from the forbidden fruit, right? They took a bite out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be like an apple or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that like we now, like in modern history, like, we walk around with that apple on the back of your iPhone where it's like one bite into it.
Okay.
And it was just weird how like the correlation was like, if you look at it that way, like,
I don't get it.
we walk around with a Apple device, but like a fruit on the back of your cell phone that has like a bite in it, like a piece mark. Yeah.
Okay.
know,
Well, not
the
everybody,
video-
though.
What? Yeah.
Everyone.
I've read the comment of the video where I saw the thing, and the guy was like, "I'm so glad I'm an Android user. Today's the day." I was like, "Dang, bro."
That's about it. That's all I got, I guess.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, Gaddafi. Basically, there was a war in like 1911. Italy raided Libya with the Turkish, I believe, and fast forward 50 years, Libya Gaddafi ended up deciding, hey, I'm gonna take back my country back, and
Who did you take it from?
from the Italians.
Okay.
Yep, there were Italian colonizers that dated back 1911, and he actually did a coup. And coup d'etat is like somebody who just like overthrows. It's an act where they overthrow like the leading party or whatever. And he actually tried 2 times, and the third time it was a success. This first time something happened where he didn't have enough people. That was the first time. The second time, he was going to do it. Everybody came to like, the capital of Libya, and they were there for an opera or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to do it because everyone had their families and their relatives there and everything. So he just didn't want to do it. So it was on like September the 1st of 1969 is what happened. He did a revolution type stuff, and they took power. And like I said, he was in control for 42 years. It was a dictator. If you don't know what a dictator is somebody who has ultimate power. Like they're the one ruler. Like they say and do it all.
So good. I haven't done any research on him. So was he bad to his people? Like, was he looked down upon?
So basically, I mean, he did things his way, but he was actually, from what I understood, he actually did a lot for Libya.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, he provided like basically food stamps,
Mm-hmm.
low income, like people who are like lower on the socioeconomic status, provided them like cheap housing and stuff like that. And he actually had this project where it was like he provided water for the whole country, and it made like an artificial river, and the river was actually called. Dang, what was the river called? Dun, 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 dun. Man, I can't think of the river.
You're fired.
I am fired. I have it right here somewhere, I thought. Basically, yeah, he just provided river water through the whole country by a man-made river. He also created a green book. It was called a green book. It was almost like the third like holy book in Libya. It was like below the Quran, and he made everybody read that book in school. And it basically was like a book that you had to read, and it was basically the way of life by Gaddafi. But yeah, like you said, what did he do good? He did made like social programs, like food stamps, affordable housing. He helped the country to grow to be the #1 country actually in Africa during that time period. And the man, what was the thing? Oh yeah, it was called the Great River Project, and give everyone water. Um, in 2010, they were actually considered by the United Nations as like a prosperous country, whereas like population wise, over 80% was literate, so they could read, um, and they had a life expectancy of 74.5 years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then he died.
Well,
Or
that
was
was
killed.
that he was killed
Yeah, I remember.
many years
He,
later.
it wasn't that. Oh, many after his like reign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like people tried to like take over him many years. Like he was the ruler, so like his family, like his brothers and uncles and all that stuff, he appointed them to like certain positions in the military and whatnot. And I mean, yeah, I don't. He did bad things, but he did it for what he thought was the good of his country and what he wanted to like make his people, successful type stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I literally don't think I really know anything about him. I don't think we, at least when we were brought up in school, there wasn't a name that was really mentioned.
Nope.
So I don't know too much about it. I literally just knew he was associated with Libya, and that's it. And then I knew that he died and or was killed at some point. But I've never really looked into him too much besides that. But I mean, just off of those, I mean, sounds like he, like those being the points you brought up, sounds like he did some good stuff. But again, I don't know what he did in terms of like bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was also another story. He had a long life. He was around for 42 years, so he had to do some, corrupt stuff and whatnot. But there was this story apparently that the U.S. wanted. There's another part of the story where he took back the power because he saw that this country was being like abused in terms of like oil.
Yeah.
So, like the Italians, they had a contract with Libya where they were getting like 10% of all the sales, and this guy's like, no, this is our resources. We should get 100%. So that's why he planned the coup and took over everything because he wanted to put all the money back into the country, and that's what he did. That's why he was able to get people housing and to build the Great River Project and all that stuff. But there was a story with him where he basically there was a flight from England to the United States, and it was carrying like 280 people, and 2 Libyan people. Gaddafi said he didn't have he wasn't like associated with it. Like people just did it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they blew the plane up, and the United States wanted to extradite those 2 people, and Gaddafi for many years was like, "No, you're not going to get them. Whatever, we're going to keep them."
Yeah.
And then they ended up extraditing them to the Netherlands, and they had a court, and they filed, let them plead guilty and all that stuff. And Gaddafi ended up paying like a sum of like $2 billion. So basically $10 million to each family of the person that died in the plane crash.
And when was the crash?
It was like in 1990s.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look just a little bit about him because I just, like I said, I didn't really know anything at all. I was going to, but I completely forgot. And I know, yeah.
Yeah, I think for now on we should, whoever we talk about, like, you should tell me, and I'll do some basic research.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
I was going to, but then I forgot, and then the reason I'm wanting to look stuff up now before I like say stuff about him is because I don't want him to be like some super crazy person, and I'm talking good about him.
Everybody's crazy to an extent. Like, everyone does fucked up stuff. Like,
yeah,
you've done crazy stuff that if you were to share, people would be like, "This guy is wild." Like, I don't want to even like be affiliated to. I'm not saying like I have done stuff, but I could give stories to him like, "Oh, this guy is like crooked, this and that," But he just somebody who was like a political leader for so many years. So like, you don't want to be like, "Oh, this guy was a good person," and really he was a damn mass murderer type.
Yeah. So I mean, from what I'm seeing, I don't see anything that really sticks out too much. I mean, yeah, everyone. It doesn't seem like he's doing, or he did, excuse me, any worse than any other figurehead or leader of any other country in the world.
Yeah.
It seems like he was hated by the Western media for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and they seem to definitely point out the bad, which happens a lot of times with the media, especially here in the States. I mean, the media anywhere, but definitely here in the States. Obviously, we live in here, so I mean, I might be biased towards thinking that, but yeah, like, just talking about like Mexico, for instance, they'll say, "Oh, Mexico, blah blah, this, that, dangerous." And yeah, it is dangerous in some parts, but it's not as dangerous as they make it out to be.
Well, certain parts are, but yeah, certain parts aren't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's how it is
They
anywhere in the world.
yeah,
Like people
they
say, don't
exaggerate
go to
things.
Chicago at this time of day, this year, this time of night type stuff because this and that could happen to you.
So as far as Gaddafi, so he raised to power. He was essentially a warlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty. I mean, there's some appeal to that, I guess, right? That idea of being a warlord. It seems kind of cool.
Planned the
I
revolution
guess,
and
kinda.
he made it successful. Had people to follow him for many, many years.
So he was a leader, obviously, right? He was able to do that. He was able to influence people or convince them, right? He stood up for what he believed in, which was the fact that his country was being taken advantage of.
Yeah, abused and all that.
And he was able to turn it around, and the country prospered in return, right?
Drastically.
Seems like that's what
it became the richest country in Africa for many years, in terms of like GDP and like I said, life expectancy and literacy and stuff of that sort.
So yeah, I mean, he did a good bit. Like I said, when I just looked up every minute, it didn't seem like he did anything like super. I mean, yeah, he obviously did some stuff, but
yeah, you can just imagine stuff he.
You have to do certain things to make things happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't like, I'm just making sure I just wanted to make sure he wasn't like someone like, I don't know.
Like if you want, yeah, like basically a terrorist.
No, not even. I mean, even then,
he was affiliated with it.
People
were calling him that for many years.
Yeah, but okay. But based off of what I just looked at and what you said, and like I said, I've never really heard too much. Right? If he was a super evil person, then I would have heard more. You know what I mean? At some point,
definitely.
So I mean, as far as him being a man, like all those points that I just gave, I'd say that they make him. Those are man-worthy things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he took the initiative to, provide for his country.
So 2 episodes ago when we talked about this idea in this series, I would like change my idea, you know what I mean? Or like that was kind of the plan on what I thought a man was, or I wanted to really more accurately come to a conclusion of what a man was, right? And the main part of that was it had to be like man defined only. I know that was kind of confusing, but really what I mean by that is like the idea of a man cannot be applied to a woman as well, right? Because then that's not a man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm getting at is the idea of someone gathering a lot of people and convincing them to, in this case, fight and overthrow a government. I can't imagine a woman doing that for whatever reason.
Yeah, it'd be hard for her to lead.
It would just be difficult, and I don't know
because he also had to fight, and it'd be hard to see a woman fight in that term.
Yeah, I mean, especially just be able to convince other people, right? Specifically men. I mean, again, we talked about women fighting in like the war and conflicts last episode, but it's like, I mean, that's just how it is, right? Men fight.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, come on.
Natural instinct.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's even natural instinct. It's just the way it is. For whatever reason, that's just the way it is. If it's a societal thing or whatever, but it's been like that since like the beginning of time. Men have been the one for the most part to fight in the wars, and you know what I mean, create civilizations.
Speaking of fighting,
kingdoms and whatever else.
I came across this study today, and it was actually a real study about people who grow beards. This guy wanted to see so basically he took like 3 different people, all right, and he wanted to see how much force it could take to break a person's jaw.
I guess I saw that.
Yeah, and basically like if you're able to grow a full beard, they say, then your ancestors were like warriors, they were fighters, and women who aren't fighters don't grow facial hair. Basically, the study ended up resulting was if if you get punched when you have a full beard, you are like 85 or 80% less likely to break your jaw compared to somebody who has no facial hair on their face at all.
And the reason being is because the beard creates a sort of barrier from
Yeah,
the fists and your
exactly.
skull, your jaw, or whatever.
Absorbs the impact and whatnot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so like it's just that's what separates also a man from a woman.
What? Being able to grow a beard?
Being able to, a beard, definitely. But
I don't think so. I think that's not. I wouldn't include that in my definition, just because there are women that can grow beards.
yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
And there are
I used
men
to
who
have teachers
cannot
had
grow beards.
mustaches. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. I personally would not include that in mine, especially as of right now. I just don't. It doesn't for me. It wouldn't make sense. But my point with the fighting, like I think it was really a manly quality of him to like be able to, like I said, bring those people together and fight and actually succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I said for whatever reason I just couldn't see a woman doing that. I don't think that's sexist in thought, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like it would be possible, especially on that scale.
Honestly, sitting here listening, like talking and listening to you and me saying things like, one of these days we're having to get a woman on here and be like, hey, what does it take to be a woman?
Well, yeah, but first we have to figure out
what it takes to be a man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then even then, at that end, right at the ending of that, it might be clearer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But then again, I don't think that would be something.
I don't want people on here listening and think, hey, like we're like degrading women and stuff like that. Cause that's definitely not what we're doing.
No, yeah, definitely
we're
not.
We're trying to.
It's a
have
journey.
a deeper understanding of what we should be like to an extent.
What we should be like, or what really we're just trying to figure out what it means to be a man. I don't think there's degrading. That's a degrading thought to have, right? You're not degrading women by thinking what it takes to be a man, or even saying, I don't see a woman coming out and starting a coup and then creating a, you know what I mean? Like what Gaddafi did. You know what I mean? I just don't see that for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a sexist thought. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, so that's
Gaddafi.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the other stuff you said. If it could be like, a man. You know what I mean? Like the trait of a man only.
I mean,
but like
just a fighter or leader, like a warrior. That's what I took it as, like a warrior, someone who just like
So
who got put in a corner and had to like
he had to stand up for what he thought was right.
Yeah.
So as of now, based off of last episode and this episode, and again last episode we talked about how we thought the definition of man would change throughout history in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
In addition to like
to our first person, who did you do it? Remember?
It was you just made me forget. Genghis Khan
and now Gaddafi. Like the difference between the two, you're saying?
Well, not really just the difference, but I'm saying like the idea, like what, basically warrior, right?
Mm-hmm.
As of right now,
yeah,
the idea of warrior in whatever time period seems to be associated with man to me. Mm-hmm. So I think as of right now, I think you have to go back and watch the last episode and the one before that. I gave what I thought a man would be or is. I gave that definition then. So right now, I think just thinking about it more, especially with last episode and this one, I think just the idea of a warrior is what man is, and
right.
whatever and what. But then that's kind of a cop out though, because what is a warrior? You know what I mean?
A warrior is somebody who
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
there's a definition for a
warrior. But maybe it does make it easier. Maybe it's not necessarily too much of a cop out, but again, that definition of warrior would change, right, as well. Like it doesn't have to. A warrior in this region might be different from this. You know what I mean? In terms of like what they think, and especially time wise.
And then soldier, like there's two different things.
Well, not even like that. I mean, like a warrior, is someone who, I don't know, will go out and get food or something. You know what I mean? Like the whole idea of what a warrior is will be different from person to person.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
I'm not talking about the terms in terms of warrior, soldier,
But I'm saying
like
people's
that.
perspective on what a warrior is will definitely vary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But either way, right? What I'm getting at is right now, my thought is, uh, a man is a warrior. Now, what is a warrior? What does it take to be a warrior? It really just depends. So, like you said, standing up for what you think is right, right? I think that's a good component of it. But the only issue with that is a woman can stand up for what's right as well.
True.
You know what I mean? So then it can't just be a man. It can't be, you know what I mean? It can't be a man thing because women can equally do that. Women are capable of, um, you know, I just got lost for a second.
Well, I'll pick up a little bit. Basically, like from whenever you asked me what is a man, I remember off the back I was like, protector and provider.
Mm-hmm.
Like after these last 2 episodes and me looking up and talking to you about like these men, like for me it's like a warrior, someone who fights. Like anything like a fight or flight. It's like I think a man would be somebody who would stood there and fight no matter what the circumstance is. Whereas a woman will be somebody most of the majority of the time who would flee. Like, oh no, I'm not going to.
And flee because it's I don't know, maybe because there should be the roles. I don't know. Is that why?
Potentially, yeah. Like, but it depends on the situation. Like, if there's two women, like obviously those women might just decide to both fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if it's a man and a woman most of the time will.
Yeah, because it's just difficult in terms of like from a physical perspective
Yeah.
for her to win that unless she's armed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the case a lot of times nowadays, or at least it should be, right? If you're not able to depend on your physical ability, then you should arm yourself if you're able to. I agree. I believe that at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. We're kind of like, I don't know, just learning. That was the whole point of this, right? We're trying to figure out, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think a man is just like I said, like the more I talk about, like a warrior, a fighter, like a leader.
Yeah.
Like women could be that, but majority of the time, like it's most those words are gonna be associated with a
Yeah.
male.
For the most part, yeah. And I think for me, what I want to do again, when I originally thought of this, I was like, I want to figure out what is a man. You know what I mean?
Why did you want to figure that out?
I just because okay, the reason I wanted to do that is because what was our original goal? At least for me, for the most part, is I want to be able to talk to young boys and young men and even older men who might not understand things or feel lost or whatever the case, help them understand whatever they need to understand, right? And I think from like a fundamental perspective, you should understand who you are, right? And being a man, if you're a man, makes up the biggest percentage of that. You know what I mean? Like you're a man. So like, but then it's like, what is a man? So you have to really understand yourself. Like whatever you're doing in life, for you to succeed or for you to like prosper, you really need to know yourself. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So like for goals, for instance, right? If you don't know what sort of goals you want to achieve, it's just going to be difficult to be successful, right?
Yeah, because you're aiming aimlessly.
Yeah, like what are you going to succeed at, right? You're not going to succeed at anything because you don't have any goals in mind, right? So you don't know how to get there. You're not knowing how to take those initial steps.
Yeah, you're not being what's the word? You're not being conscious of what you're doing.
You're not being proactive in anything.
Yeah.
So when I'm that's just one part, right? That's just like a little example. So like as a man, if you don't even know what a man is, right, and you don't know what makes you a man personally, again, the definition will change from person to person, then how will you, it might be difficult for you to live your life. You know what I mean? Or like you might have a misconstrued understanding of what a man is, right? So it makes your life more difficult than it needs to be. So thinking about that and talking about it, I think is a good thing because it might clear up the confusion for some people.
Yeah, it makes you more aware, more conscious of what it is, of what you are.
Exactly. So again, back to like your original question, why I thought of it it was really to, again, our original goal, especially mine. I know we both said it for the most part, is like to help young boys and men and
Yeah, and
help them
be
understand.
a good leader
So
for
I think
yourself.
this is a piece of that puzzle, right? For me, at least, it seems like it is. At least right now, my idea can change later, my mindset. But as of now, I think this is a good direction to take, right? For the most part.
Turn out that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that does that make sense as far as like, just talking about like it's difficult to understand yourself, like oh, I'm unhappy. It's like, well, sometimes it's not possible to you're not going to always be in a good mood, right? You're not
Mhm.
always going to be happy, right? It's a your happiness and your sadness is a spectrum.
Yeah, it's like
You know what I
waves.
mean? Yeah. So it's not always going to be like this. You're not always going to go to the top, and it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be like you said. It's going to be waves.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding yourself and understanding what makes those waves high and what makes those waves low will help you in the long run, right? You want to have an average wave height that's
Yeah, because you're
like
just understanding of what.
good.
Yeah, you're understanding more about how you feel or why you're feeling this way or
Yeah.
what life throws at you. Like, it's okay to to feel a certain way as long as you're like aware that it is a wave and you're just at the bottom of a wave type stuff.
Yeah. And
And life is long. Like, you have to just be conscious of trying to
yeah.
want to do and be the best that you can.
And I think another good thing I just thought about, and I should have thought about it the first episode of the intro episode, really, was what's not a man, right? I think that also is good. And I guess I can start that now, and maybe you can add in some things. You probably agree with some, maybe you won't. But for one, a man isn't. Again, you can be a man and contain these or possess these traits or abilities or whatever I'm about to name, right? But you don't have to have these to be considered a man, in my opinion, right? So for one, being like big, right? In terms of height, right? In terms of muscle,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of strength, even. You're not any less of a man because someone's taller or more muscular, or stronger than you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So strength doesn't make you a man, right? Your physical prowess doesn't make you a man. Stuff like that. Does anything come to mind to you as far as like what society or what people think makes a man that you don't agree with?
Well, not that I don't agree, but what most people will look at would be like power and money. How much power, how much influence you have, how much money you make, stuff like that.
That's a good one. I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like society. I think a lot of issues. Again, we're talking about men, so this can pertain to women and girls as well. But like society pushes on these ideals to you for whatever reason, right? They just happen because for a cultural reason or for a underlying reason that we might not
For an
know.
agenda that
Exactly.
people may have.
So you have to really figure out who you are and who you want to be, right? You can't be told these things. You can't be told you're any less of anything because of some external sources.
Well, they're gonna tell you regardless, but it's up to you to decide where you want and what you want to be type stuff. Like I said, I think myself. I think there's a big agenda as to all this stuff that's going on in the world, like how. You can get very conspiracy right here, but how like they put like certain male figures, like masculine male figures, in like very feminine roles in movies and stuff like that. They want people to, I think, to be softer and more timid and stuff, And if you aren't aware of that agenda type stuff, then you will become that.
Yeah, but I mean, and with that as well, though, I don't think you're also not any less of a man because you are more timid, and you're not any less of a woman because you are more strong. You know what I mean? Those are still equally shared between the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, definitely. I think men if they want to cry, they should be able to cry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
Stuff like
open
that.
themselves. Yeah.
Like saying, so another one that you could say you don't agree with that I definitely would not agree with is if someone says you're not a man because you cry, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
No, that I mean,
That like that would be something silly, but there are people out there who think that.
yeah,
So there are
true.
guys who might want to cry and they feel they can't because they're less manly for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's a kind of funny one because I don't ever cry, but it's just because I don't ever feel like I need to. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
But yeah, for me personally, it's just I don't ever feel like that. But if I did, you know what I mean, I definitely would. I would let it flow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that's another one, not being able to cry or not crying. I don't think or crying. Excuse me. You're not any less of a man because you are crying.
Yeah, I'm a man, and I cry every once in a while. Like if I think about, I remember like my dogs passed away, I'd be crying. And if I ever like into a deep thought of like family or whatnot, I'd be like, man,
Yeah.
this and that, or if I'm just real emotional. I mean, even like sometimes like you have like say you're like on a really big high, like you know you're feeling great, all of a sudden like hit this low, like the change in emotion can be really drastic. And I'm not saying like that's an example of when I would cry, but that's when most people would cry. You know, like just the quick and sudden change of emotion. We were like, oh damn, what the heck happened? Like just like in shock type stuff. And even people like sometimes like people be crying because they're just angry. They just can't control, you know, the way they feel. And yeah, if you're a man and you just have filled with rage and whatnot, and you just somehow just decide to cry, then it's not gonna make you less of a man.
So as of right now, I think I want to also tweak my definition now.
Man, tweaking it every 10 minutes, bro. Go on, tweak it.
I haven't tweaked it. I'm just
yeah,
adding to it. So right now, again, last episode, I also think I gave what I thought a man was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, but I guess, I don't know. I'll just go for it.
Go for it.
Right. So right now, what I'm thinking, a man is someone who understands they're a man and whatever they believe comes with that and they embrace it in its entirety.
Okay.
Sounds like a whole lot of nothing, but it's whatever.
It means something to you.
Yes, I'm saying whatever a man means to you, and as long as you aspire to be that, then you're a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that definition, to me, it can't be applied to a woman, right? Only because man is in the definition. It's kind of it's a cop out, right? Because then for a woman, right, what a woman is whatever you believe a woman to be, and you aspire to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the definition would only pertain to a woman. Again, it's kind of a cop out, but I think that I don't know. It makes sense right now.
No, the mind. Yeah, I mean that's your thought. That's the way you feel, and that's what you believe, and that's what you're gonna believe. And that the mind is a beautiful thing. Like honestly, you can tell yourself, you can just say things to yourself in the mirror or whatnot, and if you don't have to necessarily believe it, but if you do believe it, then that's gonna be your truth. Like everything's a choice. Like I got on Facebook today and I had this little like bio and I said it like literally probably 10, 15 years ago, and it said joy is a choice. You must choose it every day.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, and like you have to honestly like whatever you desire and want, like you have to be conscious of choosing that like all the time. And I mean sometimes you might get into a phase where you question your choice. Like is this the right choice? Am I wasting my choice? Type stuff, and that's like it'll come in waves, those thoughts. Like sometimes you'll think those things, and sometimes you won't, and vice versa. It just, yeah. I mean, for me, a man, I think more than I talk about it, just somebody that is a warrior, somebody who's a fighter, someone who just is gonna do what they want to do, type stuff, but in a right and just way.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean. Yeah. So for me, I'm done for this segment with the exception of the closing message that I want to get.
Yeah, same.
So you're good? I'm going to add something and you're going to add, or you good?
Yeah, we'll talk about some extra stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to have a clear little. So yeah, my closing would just be for that like, that half our making of man section, right? because we know we want to do our little extra stuff at the end, would just be, try to find. This is for men and women, but if you're a woman, you probably maybe you would make it this far. I don't know. It might not be interesting to you, but I mean, it might not be interesting if you're a guy too. I don't know. Anyhow, find like happiness in whatever you do, right? Or and however you want to succeed or live your life, right? Don't let anyone else tell you, to do this or that or live this way or live that way. I think it's good in finding joy and happiness in how you want to live, and you should do that. That's it for me. For that.
I don't know if I should add. I'll just leave it like that. I'll just talk about what else I had to talk about for the day.
All right, so there we go. Making a Man, episode 2. You got to say the guy's name.
Gaddafi.
There we go. All right, so what's going on? What's new?
Well, what's new today? Today not Real Madrid. Ronaldo and Messi played probably for the last time against each other.
Wait, so is Ronaldo's still on Manchester United?
No, he went and he joined this Saudi Arabian team.
Yeah.
And PSG did a friendly.
They happened to do a friendly against this team.
They it was all planned.
Oh, yeah, it had to be.
Yeah, and PSG went to Saudi Arabia today. Actually, they went yesterday, had training, and then today they played against.
I wonder how long the flight is from. I guess it can't be that far, right? From.
I mean, I don't know
where PSG's at, Paris to.
I mean, it's
to Saudi Arabia.
It's across all of Europe.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's crazy. Is it the last time? Because there've been reports again. People just report things and say things like what they say whatever they want, but there are reports that Messi's getting. People are going to want him on this other Saudi Arabian team.
Yeah, that's what they said too. They got someone trying to pay him $900 million a season.
Yeah,
that'd be wild.
And they have the money for that. Look at what they spent on the World Cup, right? And look what they spent on everything.
Yeah. Well, today PSG beat Riyadh. It's actually the Riyadh All-Star 11 basically.
Ronaldo was playing.
Ronaldo scored 2 goals.
So what was the score?
5-4. PSG won.
Whoa, that's kind of close.
Yeah, Messi scored in the 3rd minute. And then Ronaldo scored a penalty, and he scored a header. The header was actually pretty dang good, I ain't going to lie. And it finished 5-4, PSG won.
That's a high-scoring game.
Mbappe scored. Sergio Ramos scored. Honestly, it was it was crazy. I watched a little bit, but Ronaldo and Messi both came off in the 50-something minute.
It's kind of early.
Yeah, and I stopped watching it then because I was like, I only watched it for them.
Yeah. So another thing, soccer news, you saw the stuff with PK?
Yep.
So
there's a lot of stuff going on PK.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about him?
So I'm going to do a quick thing and you can add. You probably know much more. But basically he was cheating on, or he cheated, whatever. He cheated on Shakira. If you don't know, he was dating. He wasn't married to her, was he?
He was married to her.
Were they married?
They were definitely like a couple.
So, either way they were a couple. I don't know if they were married. I can't remember. But he was cheating on her. And apparently one of the ways, I don't know if that's how they found out. But anyways, in her song, she made a bunch of digs at him, right?
Her most recent song she dropped last week.
She basically compared herself to the other girls, calling the other girl was a Casio, which is, if you're not familiar, is a watch brand, low-end watch brand, right? Entry-level type stuff. You can get them at Walmart. And she said she was a Rolex. Was that what she used? But if you know watches, Rolexes are not even like the highest. Like the ceiling is much higher
than a Rolex.
Then Rolex is like mid.
Yeah.
Really mid level.
Yeah, I saw this guy today offering this watch like $600,000.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, go on.
And then compared herself, there's a car, whatever the car brand is, and then she was whatever the other car was, I don't remember. And PK just kind of went crazy. He got a thing with a sponsorship with Casio.
Mm-hmm.
He got a sponsorship with the car brand.
He drove the car to his.
He drove the car to the fields or wherever he went to.
Yeah. I
think he may have a sponsorship with them, or maybe he's just driving the car. Either way, he's just trolling the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
He's really trolling her.
What I'll talk about, sir, PK, is he's actually started a league.
I saw that
in Spain. It's like a 77 league. It's actually quite cool the way he set it up. So right now it's 12 teams, and each team has 10 permanent players, and they have 2 extra spots that continuously rotate. And you can, like, say for instance, the other day Chicharito, he plays for LA Galaxy.
I saw that. Yep.
He went and played on a team, and it's just honestly really cool that
Aguero's in that league, right? Yeah.
Well, he came on as one of those guest players.
Oh, is it the guest player? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no telling who they're gonna bring.
Apparently, it's
next.
like in sponsorship with like one of the highest viewed Twitch people.
Yep.
I don't know if he was in his location or in general, but
I
yeah,
think in general.
really.
Yeah, because they
I've
stream
never,
every game.
I've never got on the Twitch train.
I told you
I
a while
don't know
back I
why.
wanted to do Twitch.
So when?
Remember, like a few months ago, I was like, we talked about Twitch for like 10 minutes. I was like, what's Twitch? I should do Twitch, and you were like, la 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 la. La.
I mean, Twitch is just a video service
the
that's
video,
live.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
I mean, it's big, but like I don't know. What I'm saying, I've never been able to like get on that Twitch train in terms of like being a viewer. Like Tyler,
yeah.
he fucking loves Twitch.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
what
if
he
he
told me
does
about
now,
it.
but like he would always be on some Twitch stuff. Like having Twitch open in a different tab and like doing other stuff. You know what I mean? He like, I don't know.
He's the one who told me about it. He's like, you should make Twitch videos. You should just stream something. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what to stream. He was like, man, just stream your life.
The one thing I saw a few clips with that league, and I thought one of the weirdest things to me, which maybe it's cool if I let it sit in and think about or watch it, but it's like the whole getting the ball at the start of the game. It's like a dodgeball type thing.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, you didn't see it?
I
Like
didn't
they'll
see
be
that.
on the line and I guess the whistle blows and they run for the ball.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I didn't see that. I haven't actually watched the game yet.
I haven't watched the game either. I
I
just saw a
just
few
heard,
clips.
yeah,
And I could be
clips about it.
completely misunderstanding what I saw, but that seemed to be like
The way
how it
starts off.
started.
I mean,
yeah.
that would be fair.
And apparently there's a guy who's like a mask guy. He's running like
He's
a
an actual professional player. They say.
yeah,
He's
because
hiding his identity.
they found out who he was though. Did you
Oh,
see that?
no, I didn't
Because he
see
has
that.
a tattoo on his neck,
Dang.
and they matched it up obviously to the guy who has the same tattoo on his neck. But
That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's now the messy thing though. I'm gonna keep saying Sergio Ramos, Busquets. Damn, Gerard Piqué. What else? What else is soccer? Or what other news? What's up with that? I mean, I haven't really know a lot about it, but this Biden stuff, I keep hearing a lot of stuff about Biden.
apparently all I really know, again I haven't listened to it either,
His
is that
hiding
he had
documents.
some classified documents as well that he wasn't supposed to have where he had them or something along those lines.
At his house.
Yeah, which is just crazy because the thing is with classified documents, they're supposed to be in certain areas, right? Like you can be in a building that contains classified documents, right? And so to get entry into that building, you would have to have that level of
Access.
not even access for that particular document, right? Like this building contains top secret level documents, right? So oftentimes you most likely need a top secret level clearance to enter that building, even if you're on a different part of the building that doesn't contain those. So they have to stay in one area, and if you're able to access them, you access them there. You can't typically even take them, even if it was the same building.
Yeah.
But I mean, Trump was the president, Biden was the president, so I guess they're more lenient with stuff like that. But typically, you can't even take it to a different region, even if it's in the same building.
Yeah,
they're really like strict on that. Like yeah. So either way, that's wild. But I saw another thing. I don't know. I'm just asking because I don't really know. What was the Barcelona's coach? Barcelona coach?
Xavi.
No, not him. Maybe it was the Real Madrid coach. I don't know. One of the coaches. I keep seeing the daughters like dating other players.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see anything of that yet. What about it that she's dating like?
I just feel like I keep seeing her, and I was going to ask you. I don't know if she just keeps dating the guy's players.
She look good.
I mean, I didn't look at her, so I don't know. But she's like 20. She dated one of the players. She's like 24, 25 now. It's the guy. Most of them always all wear suits, but he like always wears like a black suit. He has like a shaved head.
Oh, Zinedine Zidane.
No, not Zidane. What is his name?
Carlo Ancelotti.
No, it starts with the M, I think.
Oh, Mourinho.
I think it is. I'm almost positive it's Mourinho.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm.
So basically, his daughter's dating around.
I feel like I always see her dating someone, but maybe not. I just was gonna ask you if you've seen it or if you know about it.
No,
Have you seen a picture of him?
Heard this girl.
Oh no, not Mourinho, not Mourinho. He has bald head. He's shaved. He has a shaved head.
Oh, Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, Guardiola. Yeah. I completely missed a few syllables in his name right there, but yeah.
He has two daughters.
Yeah.
This girl.
Yeah. I swear she was dating someone else like a few months back, and then I just saw something like a week ago about her dating someone else. I could be completely.
It's not this daughter.
No, no way. Yeah, it's definitely the older daughter.
Yeah, the Maria. Yeah.
Yeah, she's dating someone on who does he coach for right now?
You mean he coached at Man City?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's pretty.
And
Heck yeah.
Well, that's it. That's it for me for news. I mean, we have 45 today.
Heck yeah, that's it for news, you guys. We're always gonna have two parts. First part is
Making a man. I should have looked at the time. So I mean, I'll have to watch it anyway.
and you
But
have a
whatever.
little clip it, where you can just like.
Well,
hey,
yeah, I just have the I was gonna do it
Part
last
one.
one. I forgot to do it. You just put it in the bio, and
Mhm.
it'll like has sections on some
Yeah.
videos. It's
Yeah.
because the creator had to like put the timestamps. But yeah, I'll do that for this one and the last one.
Heck yeah.
If I remember, I should remember. But yeah, that's episode 2 of Making a Man.
Yep. Peace, love, and joy, y'all.
You're supposed to say the guy's name again.
Gaddafi.
Yeah, season 2, episode 2, Gaddafi. Appreciate you guys watching, listening, tuning in.
Heck yeah.
Make sure you
Like, comment, subscribe.
Hey, there you go.
And we'll see you guys next week on episode 3 of Circling Thoughts.
Peace out.
Peace.